kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins. Won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobody who died and made you king of anything. You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storms coming, so you better start running. We can't control it. Our bones are going for it, going for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Tossing the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I'm still to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's fact. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
All right, you guys, welcome. Happy Thursday. What is this? November 20th. Oh my gosh. We are almost at Thanksgiving, almost done with this year. Hang in, buckle in. Man, what a crazy week this has been. But on this afternoon's live stream, we might do another live stream later tonight just to have some fun and go over all the craziness that's been going on today and this week. But in this live stream, we're going to listen in on the Webull Q3 earnings. There are some people, myself and Mediocre and others in the Discord, that are following or trading this stock. And it's had a nice, tasty dip here to about $8. I bought, what was my cheapest buy-in? $9.24. I should probably go in and buy some around $8. So I am a little bit in the red on this play. However, only by about $1.25. And I have a very small position because, as we went over in the live stream with Mediocre in May a month or two ago, I just have a hard time understanding the financials on this particular company. When you're dealing with these financial companies, it's not as straightforward as looking at a company that's selling widgets, right? Products or services. So I wanted to just dip my toe in the water very carefully. And I'm glad that, I didn't take big positions here in November. And I'll probably add a little bit if it hangs out here around $8. But I see a lot of people on social media that are saying they're just absolutely buried underwater on this stock. I guess people that bought in at 12, 13, 14, 15. And, my general thought about it as I talked to Mediocre is we don't know where the thing could bottom out, but we don't think Webull's going anywhere. And so it's just a matter of the market finding a value for Webull, whatever that ends up being. 12, 10, 8, 5, I don't know. We'll find out. But it's going to be dependent on what? On earnings and revenue, and earnings and revenue expectations. So, might be an interesting one to keep an eye on over the next couple years. Mediocre, I'm going to send you a collab cam link. In fact, let me put it in the chat here. Might make it easier. Collab cam. Copy. Try this, Mediocre. Here in the YouTube chat. So, getting back to what I was saying while we're waiting for Mediocre, I don't know where the bottom is on Webull. We're kind of in uncharted territory because it was, that SPAC $10 price, and then it ran up to $30, $35, immediately traded all the way back down to 10, and it's kind of trying to find its where it feels at home. And then which is why I want to listen to management today, and I want to review what is on the earnings. Rolf says, Webull is one of my primary brokers. It better not go anywhere. Yeah, we don't think Webull is going anywhere, Rolf. It's just a matter of, what are the earnings going to be and what will people value those earnings at? And then you could compare them to other brokers in terms of looking at PE ratios based off of those earnings. We got the press from Webull with the results. The call will start in about 20 minutes. Here's what we know. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Mediocre, drop me a note in the chat if you're able to. There he is. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
All right. Can y'all hear Mediocre? Say something, buddy.
Hold on, let me mute the stream.
Yeah, it looks like you're coming across on my desktop audio. Total revenues up 55% year over year to 157 million. Customer assets at an all-time high, increasing 84% year over year. Strong profitability while investing in geographic expansion, AI, and new and enhanced product offerings. So what does that mean, geographic expansion, AI, and new and enhanced product offerings? They brought back cryptocurrency trading. They added corporate bond trading. They launched Webull in the EU with services in the Netherlands. And they rolled out level 3 options for customers in Canada, Singapore, and Hong Kong. So, and they launched crypto in Australia as well, not just the US market. So, I think that if they continue these kind of product announcements and service announcements, that hopefully we see the revenues and the profits continue to grow over time. We'll see. 157 million. I just want to compare that. Oh, we got PE ratio right now of 23, forward PE ratio of 60. Analyst, based on previous data, had Webull at a strong buy with the price target of $18. We're kind of in that weird territory where, maybe there'll be some adjustments after today's earnings. I'll look forward in about a week to see if any analyst updates their forecast for Webull. Mediocre, you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you.
All right. Financials, quarterly Q3. Let's look back. Yeah, 32 million. So, income revenue. Here's what we want. 101 million. And it was 157 now. So that's a decent growth. Operating income last quarter, same quarter a year ago, was negative 9 million. Last quarter was negative 15 million. And here we have negative 9 and negative 15. We have net income at 33 million. So, these all sound pretty good, mediocre, right?
I think they do. I'm confused, honestly.
Confused why the stock price is not going up more than you would expect?
Yeah, like it's we've been in this downtrend, this technical downtrend, right? It's been very bearish looking. The chart looks awful, but the earnings calls don't really reflect the stock, price action.
Mediocre. I remember telling you that I bought some Webull, and I thought I bought some around $8. I need to recheck my account. In fact, I'm going to do that now because I could have sworn that I told you just a couple days ago that I added $8, but
you did.
I didn't update it on my chart here.
The day was getting smashed real bad.
Let's see.
We looked at quarter two. How many times have we went over this?
Here we go. Yeah, I bought at 8:06 on November 17th. So let me add that to my little position here. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was saying that when it was in that major, a lot of this, in my opinion, is most likely the overall economy, the tariff stuff.
And the market's just getting crushed lately too, on top of that.
Exactly. So I think this is what this major push down is all about. And as long as the economy recovers here and, we start getting some interest rate cuts and some of the Supreme Court stuff done, I think the stock market should recover.
For those of you who are not familiar with how I trade, I took my first entry when it crossed underneath this green line, which was like, I had set that as an alert to start paying attention near the all-time low. And I bought in at 968, just a very tiny, like what I call a toe in the water, because we don't want to be catching a falling knife. We don't know how far this thing's going to go, but what if that was the bottom? What if it caught support right here? So I got my initial entry, and then I generally like to, see at least a 10 or 20% pullback before I add on weakness, if I still believe in the stock. But so I have added twice at 924 and 806 since my first entry on November 4th, but we still don't know where the bottom is. So I'm not trying to go all in on Webull. This is for me anyways, a very small position. I'm not even trying to sell options on it, mediocre. I'm looking for where can I get a good cost basis to ride out the next 2 years. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, and if you look, what platform are you using? You're on Webull right now.
Yep.
And this is my point. This is something you can't do on Robinhood. You're on the desktop version, and it has more bells and whistles than Robinhood. And in my opinion, I mean, I'm a Thinkorswim user. I do have Webull as well, but in my opinion about Webull, it's one of the better trading platforms out.
And mediocre, don't forget, Webull is the only one you can get in those Chinese IPOs with the pre-IPO price. Remember when we used to trade those a couple years ago?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Assets, cash, 654 million, 3.3 billion in total assets. I'm not trying to analyze this balance sheet like I normally would a different type of company, like a brick and mortar or something. I'm just kind of looking at a couple things here. They have plenty of assets relative to their liabilities. And mediocre, the other thing we wanted to look at or find out today is, have they been selling any shares, right? Remember that discussion?
Sorry, I was reading Rolf's comment.
I said we wanted to kind of look at the filing today and find out if any of the price rundown has been because of them issuing any shares.
Oh yeah, that was one of the things.
That is something we need to dig into while we're on this call.
Absolutely.
Because we don't know. They have a SPA agreement filed out there, but we also think that they have plenty of cash. So why tap into it? For what? I don't know. That's what we're going to find out.
That's the other thing, Tony, is
that's the one thing that made me nervous, mediocre, was seeing that SPA agreement there.
But the original investors, the SPAC investors, they're able to sell right now. So they could have been selling off their position.
Yeah.
And they could sell off all of it. And that could be happening too. We don't really know.
Let's see, on here it says that the shares outstanding were 431 million last quarter. And here on these financials, what do they say? $490. So that is a fair increase, mediocre. 430 to 490.
So they were selling some?
Either selling or warrant execution. I don't know. I don't have the details here. I'm just looking at the raw numbers.
Yeah.
Shares outstanding last quarter were 431, and now we're at 490. And that's 60 million shares in 3 months, mediocre.
That could be though, but that's no, it can't be counted as the SPAC investors. The SPAC investors. Well, the SPAC investors will add to the flow. It could be them.
It should tell us in the 10Q. Maybe they'll mention it on the call. They're asking me for my details up here to log in. Hang on one second to the call.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, I want to read Rolf's comment.
Yeah.
Rolf says Robinhood and Webull, that he has noticed is that Robinhood is an active advertiser, and he has never seen a single Webull advertisement. So he's talking about television ads. Ads.
I've seen some advertisements on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I might
be sure and click the link below to sign up for my affiliate link with Mumu and Webull. Sorry, my British accent kind of sucks today.
The other thing, though, is like people are all on the SoFi hype. And, I like SoFi. I made a lot of money on SoFi. But I still think Webull's better. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I like the visual format of Webull over, and even the ease of buying, I think, over Robinhood. I've been experimenting with Robinhood here recently just to have a heads-on comparison, but at any rate, we are about 12 minutes from the call. Let's see what other comments we have here. Anya, how you doing? Rolf, thanks for joining in.
Gus, where you at? Oh.
Checking the settings here.
I was in the Discord. They could heard everything I said. Whoops.
All right. Let me know in the chat if you have any Webull, if you have been watching it, if you're thinking about buying it. Why are you here? I'm here just to hear what management has to say. Now, Mediocre, I know you listened to several management calls before you made your initial investment. I listened to at least one last quarter. I'm really curious to hear the sentiment and the guidance from management today. Gus says he's in the lobby, Mediocre.
Welcome, Gus. Thanks for joining.
Jay says, only thing I don't like on Bull's operating system is we can't select tax lots to sell.
I think if we start making a support ticket, they could easily fix that.
Yeah. I have not actually checked into that. I actually use that a lot, like on Fidelity or Schwab, but I don't know that I've ever even tried to utilize that feature on Webull. I just don't trade on Webull a whole lot, but I will check into that. That's a good point, Jay. Thank you. Anya says she's in Webull at 829. All right, Anya.
Nice.
Gus says he's got more than you can shake a stick at. All right, Gus, let's go. Risk versus reward looks good, so I added a small starter position at 8. Jay, I'm kind of in the same boat, except I started right about here. 968. Yeah, right there is where I started. I thought I was being slick, Mediocre, waiting for the first big red candle down. But if you're used to doing TA, Mediocre, I know I don't need to teach you this. We generally like to wait for a bounce off of some point of support, right?
But there wasn't any.
Right. So there wasn't. So that's why here on this candle, I did not take a big entry because I had no idea it could keep on going down. So I just get my kind of like toe in the water. So I start paying attention. And then if it keeps going down, then I start adding in a little bit bigger size.
Well, that's what I mean. A lot of it was market issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
The
whole
overall
market's been getting wrecked, man.
Yeah.
Down
Which
almost
drove
1%
it
on the
down.
Dow today, 1% on the S&P, 2% on the NASDAQ, and it's been like that for days, mediocre. And then crypto on top of it, Bitcoin, 87,000 a coin. Holy
Gus
shit.
says you can change the lots you sell. You might have to call though. I don't know how you call Webull.
You can definitely talk to them. One thing that I haven't ever talked to Webull on the phone, but I have utilized their customer support on the computer and the phone by, sending them a little SMS in-app message, and they're actually pretty quick about getting back to you, and they've been pretty competent. So there is that. But
Rolf
yeah,
says,
if you need to sell in a moment's notice and you want to select your tax lot and you got to call in, that could be irritating.
Bitcoin's kicking them in the teeth.
You've been trying to trade some of that Misty stuff, Rolf? MSTR, MSTU, MSTY. MSTR has been getting crushed, mediocre. I tuned into a little X podcast last night from the whatever those boys are, the North Pole gang. I don't know what they're called. The guys that have been pushing MSTR and Bitcoin, and they were back on their heels. Them boys had taken a few uppercuts to the chin, mediocre.
Yeah, I bet.
But the funny thing is, mediocre, and you'll appreciate this. They said if you liked it at 500, you're going to love it at 280. I don't know why you wouldn't buy here. My conviction has remained the same. I've got long-term conviction. The same phrases we hear in every retail ticker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The only thing I probably even heard them say, "Thank you, Shorty, for the discount."
I wonder how Micro Sailor is doing.
I don't know. I haven't checked him on Twitter to find out.
I haven't checked either. I should probably look into that.
I bet he's probably tweeting, "Thanks for the discount. We're buying here." But in reality, I think MSTR's financials could be in trouble if Bitcoin keeps getting pushed down.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And same with every other Bitcoin treasury company. I mean, there's a bunch that we've been watching, GameStop included.
You can only tap the well so many times, Tony.
GameStop under $20 today, close mediocre, 1994.
Oh, wow. Yeah, if you can only tap the well so many times, people are going to start to get pissed.
Yeah, and when you got convertibles and preferred, depending on that Bitcoin price going up and it's going the other direction, you start getting in rough water. All right, what do we got? 5 minutes. 5 minutes to the call. Jay says, you and mediocre got me to look at Webull. I'm with you guys. We don't know the bottom. Yeah. I like that. I like seeing smart folks out there in the chat. Like, there's no reason to rush here, in my opinion.
We got Icy with us, Tony. Say hello.
What's up?
Hey, Icy. How you doing, Iceman?
He said, how you doing, Iceman?
Great.
Wow. It's an inside joke.
Yeah, that's funny.
BMNR, Anya says, let's look at BMNR while I saw y'all chatting about that in the Discord. Oh my gosh, down 10% on the day. Ouch. 161 in July. It's trading at $26 right now. Holy shekels.
I mean, it's been... Pull up SoFi. What's SoFi looking like? I'm curious because I haven't looked at that.
Down 6, almost 7%. 24.91. Not, I mean, that's not smashed too bad from 32 high.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have been in SoFi for a while, you're probably still in really good shape.
I made good money on SoFi, so.
Let's, while we're waiting, mediocre, I might do a live stream tonight and talk about some meme stocks, because I see AMC hit a new all-time low, $2.07. A lot of people mad at me for the video I made a week ago saying you got to prepare for more downside. GameStop, under $20 now. You know, I've had to endure a year of people insulting me and calling me all sorts of names. You know, how dare Tony say be patient and wait for a good entry? We're finally here. And I haven't heard any of them say he was right while they're buying at 25, 28, 35 mediocre. Now we're at our range where we like to buy, and I'm loving it. You know, there's no crying, whining, or moping here. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
GameStop, 1994.
I mean, I don't think I'm buying AMC yet.
No, it's too soon for AMC, but GameStop, you know, anywhere between 17 and $20 is I feel like pretty safe zone, unless the market just crashes 35, 40%.
No, I agree. I mean, it's not a terrible spot right there. All that cash they got. Good thing they didn't put all that cash in the Bitcoin.
I know. It was good that he only dipped a toe in. It was good. Anya says, do you think the big money pulled out since the market had such a mad run up? I think the computer algorithms make decisions very quickly, Anya, based on momentum. And as fast as they will pull out, they will put money back in as soon as some sign of confidence comes back. But if there's no sign of confidence, that the red could continue for a while. Human Made says, have you taken the Series 65? I keep on putting it off because it's good content for me to make. Human Made. My goal was to get it done this year. I got 5 weeks. I better get on the ball and try and get that shit done. Keep in mind, I'm just taking it for fun, and I'm not using it for a job or anything. So I'm not on anybody's schedule except my own.
Rolf, I love the comment. That's funny.
He says, now's the time to load up Bitcoin. Well, maybe.
The word maybe part is funny as shit.
Anya says, I keep thinking the bottom has been hit and then it bottoms further. Mediocre, don't we have a phrase for that in the Discord?
Yep. I buy the dip, it dip even more.
I buy the dip, it keep on dipping. I buy the dip, it dip even more.
Don't make me come visit you, Tony.
Oh, man. I'm sorry to be in such a good mood, but I've been waiting for some of these prices for a long time. And,
I'm going to have a fucking beer is what I'm going to have.
Yeah. All right, we got 4 o'clock. Let's see if we still got music here. We still got music. Couple more seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put Webull back up here. Human Made says, my thoughts on GNS. Do I see any value? I've tweeted about GNS and maybe made one video in the last... I've tweeted about it quite often. In the last 3 years, it's a meme stock momentum trade only. Whatever they're telling you, you can make a lot of money if you can get a good entry and are willing to sell and ignore everything social media is telling you. There's a lot of liars, pumpers, and grifters pushing GNS, and the company's financials are an absolute wreck. They're about to have 50 million of new dilution hit when the ERL shares get unrestricted, and they have $1 billion of cash raise sitting out there, and the company needs cash badly. So you got to keep all of the perspective of what the company financials tell you and ignore all the social media nonsense. I know people get really mad at me for saying that, but You can't outrun the company financials, and the company must raise cash. So you're going to get steamrolled at some point. I'm not saying don't trade it. I have traded it before, but you got to jump in and jump out. And if it's starting to go against you, get the hell out quick. Everybody on social media is lying about this stock, and some of them are paid promoters without a doubt.
So which can be accessed via our website.
All right, here we go on the call.
Today's presentation will include a discussion on adjusted operating expenses, adjusted operating profit, and adjusted net income, all non-GAAP financial measures. Reconciliation of these non-GAAP financial measures to their most directly comparative GAAP measures are included in the press release that we issued today. It's important to note that although we believe that these non-GAAP measures provide useful information about our operating results, they should not be considered in isolation or construed as an alternative to their directly comparative GAAP measures. Furthermore, other companies may calculate similarly titled measures differently, limiting their usefulness as comparative measures to our data. We encourage investors and others to review our financial information in its entirety and not rely on a single financial measure. With me today is our Group President and U.S. CEO, Anthony Denier, and our Group CFO, H.C. Wang. We will begin with prepared remarks and then take questions at the end. With that, I would like to turn it over to Anthony.
Thank you, Carlos, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Webull's third quarter results demonstrate continued momentum and growth in what remains a highly favorable market environment for our business. Our Q3 results reflect this environment, but also our global team's continued ability to achieve our goals, which drove strong results across almost every metric. Strong corporate earnings, interest rate reductions, and rallies in technology and AI stocks have driven robust market conditions, with the S&P maintaining near record levels throughout the quarter. This backdrop, combined with our ongoing technological innovation, product expansion, and increased access across geographies, continues to create significant opportunities for our customers worldwide. Webull is exceptionally well positioned to continue to capitalize on the global consumer shift towards mobile-first trading. We're executing well against this favorable backdrop. This quarter marks significant milestones in product diversification and geographic expansion as we continue to see high growth across our platform on the heels of our public listing. We successfully reintroduced crypto back to the Webull app and expanded our offerings in the space to include crypto futures trading. We also introduced sports prediction markets through our partnership with Kalshi and are on track to achieve a major international milestone as Webull Canada will soon become the first non-US brokerage in our group to reach $1 billion in assets under management. And just last week, we launched Vega, the latest evolution of our AI-powered decision-making partner, which will enhance the investor experience by providing personalized insights and analysis to inform trading decisions for our users. These offerings are already leading to meaningful ROI. We're seeing strong adoption among both new and existing customers as the platform successfully re-engages dormant accounts through compelling new products. During the quarter, we brought crypto trading back to the Webull platform and brought Webull Pay back into our group, which added $1.2 billion in AUM and over 140,000 funded accounts. Now over 50% of new funded accounts are trading crypto. We will continue to meet investors where they are and increase our share of wallet by introducing them to our expanded products and solutions over time. Our differentiated offerings, including direct deposit enablement and the launch of corporate bonds, continue to set Webull apart from competitors. With each new product, we continue to strive to be the one-stop platform for traders looking to get the most personalized and agile investment opportunities on the market. I'm proud of the Webull team for the innovation and execution they've demonstrated in reaching these milestones. We've reached another important milestone in our journey as a public company with the expiration of all shareholder lockup restrictions on October 8th, which significantly increased our public float, further enhancing our market liquidity. With that, let me now walk you through the key highlights from the quarter in more detail. Here on slide 2, I'll walk you through our third quarter highlights. We delivered another strong quarter for Webull shareholders, with the year-over-year revenue growth significantly outpacing increasing operating expenses, driving solid margin expansion for another quarter. We recorded top-line revenue of $156.9 million, representing 55% growth year-over-year, driven by 4 key factors. First, customer assets reached an all-time high of $21.2 billion, inclusive of the $1.2 billion in assets from the acquisition of Webull Pay, marking the third consecutive quarter of AUM growth. Second, equity trading volume surged for the third straight quarter, up 71% year-over-year. Third, our on-time delivery of new product offerings, including crypto futures and prediction markets, enhanced stickiness and new user growth. And fourth, we continue to broaden access to our leading platform across new and varied geographies. We recorded adjusted expenses for the quarter of $120 million, representing a year-over-year increase of just 13%. Our increase in expenses was mainly driven by increased brokerage and transaction expenses, reflecting higher trading volume, as well as higher general and administrative expenses, driven by increased compensation and bonus accruals reflecting headcount growth and stronger than expected performance. The increase in G&A expenses was partially offset by a lower marketing spend. Lastly, we delivered a fourth straight quarter of operating profitability with a strong 28.7-point increase in adjusted operating margin on a year-over-year basis to 23.4%, representing adjusted operating profit of $36.7 million for the third quarter. We continue to focus on execution and margin expansion, reflecting our commitment to delivering sustainable growth and value for our shareholders. Turning now to slide 3 and our 2025 roadmap. We continue to enhance our existing product offering while executing against the ambitious roadmap we outlined in Q2 to support our growing customer base and expand market share through new offerings and geographies. We're particularly excited about the launch of Vega. Vega is an AI tool that combines news, earnings, and technical data to deliver a focused, intuitive experience that helps both new and seasoned investors navigate modern trading and make smarter decisions. Other key features of Vega include statistical insights for options trading that showcase investment opportunities and voice commands for placing trades as we continue to enable accessibility on our platform. As we continue to broaden our offerings to solidify our position as a one-stop investment platform for retail and sophisticated investors, Vega will play a crucial role in enabling further consolidation as investors gain powerful insights across their portfolio of equities, bonds, crypto, and more. Webull Premium, our subscription-based service for active traders and long-term investors, has now reached 90,000 subscribers, a 20% increase from just last quarter, and is tracking well ahead of our internal target of 100,000 subscribers by year-end. Our premium offerings have been further bolstered by the introduction of corporate bonds during Q3. Corporate bonds provide customers with low-risk investment opportunities and steady yields while also facilitating asset transfers from traditional brokerages, positioning Webull as the one-stop platform for sophisticated investors. I'm excited to discuss the launch of prediction markets on our platform. Through our partnership with Kalshi, we've introduced sports prediction markets covering NFL, NBA, NASCAR, F1, and college football events. This offering provides an engaging and accessible trading experience that lowers barriers to entry. The results have been exceptional. More than 30 million prediction contracts were placed in October, nearly twice as many as were placed in September, over half of which were sports contracts. As I stated previously, the return of crypto to our platform has delivered instant results and has become a significant driver of funded account growth. While we currently offer crypto trading to our customers in the US, Brazil, and Australia, We will continue expanding crypto offerings across geographies and are actively exploring digital asset licenses in numerous other markets. Finally, our expansion of products available internationally continues to progress. During the quarter, we launched our Webull platform in the EU, beginning in the Netherlands, and anticipate launching in additional European markets over the coming months. We also entered into a strategic partnership with Meritz Financial Group to offer U.S. market access to Meritz customers in South Korea. In addition, Level 3 options trading is now live in Singapore and Hong Kong and is set to launch in Japan imminently. And we're excited to continue to scale and reach even more global customers as our product offerings continue to grow. We have now over 700,000 funded accounts outside the U.S., and we continue to prioritize delivering U.S. products to international markets and building diversified revenue streams globally. On slide 4, I'll discuss our growth in both users and funded accounts. During the third quarter, we added roughly 1 million registered users, bringing the platform to a total of 25.9 million registered users, a more than 3 million increase from the third quarter of last year, representing a 17% increase. Importantly, that 1 million increase also represents a large sequential increase, showcasing that our product and geographic expansion is driving robust user growth. Webull was originally launched as a global market data platform before evolving to become the leading digital investment platform we are today. As a result, we have a significant number of registered users in geographies where our trading platform is not yet available. We are committed to offering access to best-in-class market data and information to everyone, whether or not they currently have a brokerage account with us. On the right side of the slide, you can see funded account metrics. Funded accounts, defined as accounts where customers have made an initial deposit that has remained above zero for 45 consecutive calendar days as of the record date, showed healthy growth. We added approximately 200,000 new funded accounts this quarter, inclusive of accounts onboarded through our acquisition of Webull Pay, bringing the total number of funded accounts to 4.93 million, a 9% year-over-year increase. As we continue to innovate and enhance our offering, we're also happy to report that our quarterly retention rate remained high and grew slightly on a sequential basis to 97.7%. Turning to slide 5, as I previously mentioned, Webull customer assets reached an all-time high of $21.2 billion, inclusive of $1.2 billion in assets from the acquisition of Webull Pay, representing an 84% increase on a year-over-year basis and a $5.3 billion sequential increase. The growth in customer assets reflects strong momentum driven by favorable market dynamics and robust deposit activity. Our customers deposited over $2.1 billion during the quarter, a 31% increase year over year, bringing our cumulative net deposits over the last 12 months to $5.9 billion. On slide 6, I'll provide an overview of trading volumes for the quarter. While we're always looking to expand and enhance our product offerings, growth in our core products also continued to accelerate. Our equity volume increased by 71% on a year-over-year basis and 26.7% sequentially, totaling $204 billion. Our options contract volume was $147 million in the third quarter. The associated revenue continues to outpace contract volume growth after implementing a new pricing model in the second half of last year, and we're pleased to see the continued results of that initiative with a steady increase in the monetization of our options business. We are now midway through Q4 and are on pace for further growth. October was our best month ever in terms of customer deposits, trading volumes, and revenues, and our new products are driving increases in market share and the consolidation of users' portfolio onto the Webull app. With that, I'll pass the call over to HC for a closer look at our financial results for the quarter.
Thank you, Anthony, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. Slide 7 shows that in the third quarter, Webull generated revenue of $156.9 million, up 55% year over year. Adjusted operating expenses for the quarter came in at $120.2 million, an increase of 13% from a year ago. We continue to take a disciplined approach to balancing execution costs and operating efficiency as we continue to scale the business, and we are pleased with our continued margin expansion and profitability. On the following slides, I will walk through the components of revenues and expenses in more detail. Now turning to slide 8 on our profitability performance. As Anthony mentioned earlier, Webull has now recorded its fourth consecutive quarter of operating profitability. In Q3, adjusted operating profit reached $36.7 million, our most profitable quarter ever, representing a 28.7% improvement in adjusted operating profit margin year over year. Adjusted net income for the quarter was $32.9 million, up $38.6 million year over year. Adjusted net profit margin improved 26.5% year over year, reaching 20.9% of revenue. Turning to slide 9, our trading-related revenues continue to accelerate, supported by higher trading volumes across all asset classes and improved monetization, particularly in options. Momentum from the second quarter carried through to Q3. Daily average revenue trades increased 56% year over year, driving a 64% rise in trading-related revenues. On a per-trade basis, revenue increased to $1.53. Turning to slide 10 on interest-related income, this category includes interest earned on client and corporate cash, as well as revenues from margin financing and stock lending activities. In the third quarter, interest-related income grew 32% year over year to $43.4 million, driven by higher interest earning balances across all categories: corporate cash, client cash, margin lending, and fully paid stock lending, reflecting the continued growth of our client assets. Finally, let's turn to slide 11 for a closer look at operating expenses. As a high-growth business with meaningful operating leverage, we expect operating expenses to increase as we scale, but at a much slower pace compared to revenue growth. In the third quarter, operating expenses grew 13% year over year, primarily due to higher brokerage and transaction costs associated with rapid growth in trading volumes and product expansion. General and administrative expenses also increased, reflecting headcount growth and higher bonus accruals tied to stronger than expected performance. These increases were partially offset by lower marketing spend as we continue to optimize our marketing and branding strategy. We remain committed to maintaining expense discipline while continuing to invest strategically in innovation, customer acquisition, and wallet share expansion to capture sustainable long-term growth opportunities. Now, thank you, everyone. With that, I will turn the call back to Anthony before we open the line for questions.
Thanks, HC. This was a record quarter for Webull on many metrics, including revenue and funded account growth, marking an exciting new chapter for our platform as we successfully unveiled innovative product offerings, including crypto futures, sports predictive markets, and our AI-powered decision partner, Vega. We remain energized as we continue to deliver our product roadmap for U.S. and global investors. I want to recognize the global Webull team for their continued dedication as we continue to grow our platform following our public listing in early 2025. We look forward to engaging with you at several upcoming industry and investor conferences. On that note, we welcome any questions you may have, either here on the call or one-on-one.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. To ask a question, you may press star, then 1 on your touch-tone phone. If you are using a speakerphone, please pick up your handset before pressing the keys. If at any time your question has been addressed and you would like to withdraw your question, please press star, then 2. At this time, we will pause momentarily to assemble our roster. And your first question today will come from Kareem Saif with Bank of America Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. Okay, well, congrats on a great quarter. My first question is on prediction markets. It was very nice to see you guys added sports contracts to the offering. So, Anthony, I was wondering if you could maybe help size the revenue opportunity for Webull from the prediction markets offering, as well as maybe share some of any of the economics that you have with Kalshi.
Sure, happy to, Kareem. So many people don't know this, but we've been partnering with Kalshi since the very beginning of the year. We just recently got into the sports prediction markets at the beginning of the NFL season, late August, I believe, for Thursday Night Football. And the prediction market pre-sports has seen some really nice growth as we did SPY hourlies, NDX hourlies, some major Fed events. But the sports numbers have been completely blowing us away, right? And we've all seen the headlines and how much growth we've seen from Kalshi and Polymarket on a notional value. We're seeing that lockstep, and the value of offering these sports predictive contracts are multifold the way I look at it, right? We announced 30 million contracts in October. We're already now halfway into Q4 on the 20th of November, and that number is completely gone. We're blowing that number away already in November, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a month-on-month growth at over 100% on a pretty consistent level. Now, the opportunity from a monetary standpoint is different with every partner that Kalshi has. So we do charge a 1 cent commission to our clients that are trading per contract, and we also get an exchange rebate from Kalshi. And the blended rate comes in anywhere between 1.25 to 1.5 cents per contract on the revenue side. That being said, I don't think it's merely a revenue catalyst for our business. These sports prediction markets are re-engaging dormant accounts, right? And it's also addressing a completely new TAM of customer. And so, if we have customers that might have came on the platform in 2021 during GameStop, the world opened up, they got quiet, right? Life got in the way, and they weren't actively trading. Now they're back because of these sports prediction markets in a big way. And it's a great way to re-engage customers that have gone dormant. It's a great way to address a whole new addressable market of clients. So very exciting time for our industry. And I do think prediction markets are going to be something that's going to continue to push us not only on new customer acquisition, but product expansion.
Got it. That was very helpful. Thank you very much. And then for my follow-up, so obviously it was very nice to see, and I believe you called it in your prepared remarks, net deposits in October were very strong. It was the best, I believe, the best months for Webull. But when I look at net deposits in 3Q, very strong also at 2.1 billion, which I believe, when I look at it as a percentage of your AUA or AUC, it's almost 53% annualized. So I was wondering if you could maybe help unpack that a little bit for us. Where are you seeing that strength coming from? If you could maybe unpack it by geography, that would be very helpful.
Absolutely. So one of the great advantages we have versus a lot of our peers is the fact that we are truly a global platform. We have 14 broker dealers that are currently operating around the world. The US is the largest and the oldest, but we just opened up the Netherlands in September, went live in 2025, and we continue to look to expand. That expansion and us taking significant market share, not only in the US, but outside the US, is one of the great drivers for that AUM growth. Right, so we took in 2.1 billion of net deposits in Q3 alone. That's not including the acquisition of Webull Pay and the money we received as part of the AUM in that acquisition. And I would put it on two different catalysts for that impressive net new money coming in. One is the evolution of our marketing style. So we have been evolving our marketing over time, and we've seen a lot of success and great ROI on our incentive transfer programs. So offering like sticky money to roll over 401ks into Webull, where we're offering matching deposits, extremely successful in bringing new AUM into the platform. And then back to the geographic expansion. We're seeing huge growth in markets like Canada that we didn't announce is about to cross 1 billion in AUM alone in that market. That's only, call it 20 months old at this point. We have other locations that we're seeing huge amounts of growth, like Australia. Of all places, Thailand is growing it's doubling on a quarter-over-quarter basis in terms of what we're seeing in transaction. And that's a recurring theme that we're seeing outside of the U.S. As the U.S., as we start expanding on U.S. products outside to the non-U.S. entities, we're seeing the customer demand for U.S. products really push new customer acquisition and new AUM coming into the platform.
Got it. That was very helpful. Thank you so much for taking my questions. I'll hop back in the queue.
The next question will come from Steven Chubak with Wolfe Research. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for taking my questions. So,
Hey, Steve.
Hey, hope you guys are well. So, wanted to ask a multi-parter just on expenses and margins. So, we saw really good expense discipline in the quarter. Total revenues were up 55%, adjusted expense up 13%. So, an impressive incremental margin just north of 75%. I wanted to understand the sustainability of those incremental margins, just given myriad opportunities to lean in on the investment side. And then for the second part, given the comments you just made, Anthony, around the marketing strategy, why not choose to lean in a little bit more in terms of marketing spend, just given the strong momentum in 3Q in October? I recognize the high ROIs. That was the one bucket that actually saw declines year on year. So I wanted to better understand how you're thinking about the opportunity to lean in there as well.
Sure. No, happy to pick that up. So when we look at our customers being able to transfer assets in, we're constantly improving on the product and the rails for them to do so easily. And when we think of margin expansion, we are very cognizant that we are in an extreme growth phase of our business. So right where we are now in the mid kind of 20s of margin, I think is extremely healthy for a growth company. And we're going to continue to deliver on that. I can hand it over to HC for a little more detail on the actual margin and the expenses side.
Sure. Thanks, Anthony, and thank you for the question. So for us, as you can see that we've consistently maintained our adjusted operating margin around 20% for the last 4 quarters. And so we are constantly optimizing and adjusting, how we're approaching expenses. For example, marketing. I think you asked about, why not over-invest in marketing when the market is good. I think in a certain sense, we are very opportunistic. We actually do a lot of work and review on a market-by-market basis to see where we get the highest ROIs in terms of our marketing dollars. But we also want to be smart about, investing and the forms of different promotions that we take. And so we have, over time, shifted more from giving away free stocks to customers to more of these like asset matching promotions. And as a result of that, we are seeing significant increases in net deposits in AUM growth. Another result of that is there's a greater amortization of marketing expenses. So it's not just given away immediately when the customer funds their accounts. The customer would have to deposit AUM and maintain their AUM for a number of months before they accrue and earn the whole marketing spend. So actually that helps us in managing expenses, to make the marketing expense more predictable quarter over quarter, which I think is a good thing in terms of managing the P&L. And also for the for the G&A expense, I think a lot of it is just proportionate to our headcount growth and to our continued investment in R&D as we continue to enter into new geographies and expand products. So we'll continue to remain disciplined and manage our expenses to make sure that we continue on the right path of margin expansion and continue to capitalize on this market environment and continue to drive growth.
That's great color. And for my follow-up, I did want to ask, given the relaunch of crypto in the U.S., how your crypto strategy might evolve now that you're getting that second at bat, and specifically wanted to better understand where the crypto pricing is today. Do you see an opportunity to potentially be more aggressive in terms of take rates to attract more users, and how you see that pricing evolving over time as competition intensifies in the space?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that question. Extremely excited about the relaunch of crypto, and I appreciate you mentioning it's kind of our second at bat. We had crypto and we launched crypto back in 2019. Through the process of trying to get our company listed, previous administration, we spun it out to Webull Pay. We brought that crypto back to the brokerage platform, the main brokerage platform, back in August, kind of like a light speed project, if you will. And so I look at it exactly like that. This is our second opportunity to really knock it out of the park. What does that mean for us, right? So we're still in the early innings of crypto, at least crypto offering on our platform. I think we lean into the sophisticated fact of our active trading user base. And so right now we have approximately 100 basis points. Coinbase retail is about 150 basis points. I know some of our competitors use a variable model based on the actual token itself for pricing. And we are going to aggressively lean in to squeezing those take rates to attract active crypto traders. Now, timeline on that business is probably going to be early in 26. I have to be careful on guidance, but when I think about it, we have an amazing opportunity to relaunch our crypto product with a whole new vigor that attracts the customers that call Webull home. Sophisticated, experienced, and active retail traders. We are going to cater our crypto trading product specifically to them. As we roll out especially new products in the crypto world, I don't want to give up too much on this call. We'll be announcing a lot of major new additions to our crypto offering to get us on the same level playing field as all of our competitors. Once we are on that playing field, we're going to aggressively take those active traders from our comps.
That's great color. Thanks so much for taking my questions.
The next question will come from Mike Grondahl with Northland Securities. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks, guys. Anthony, can you talk a little bit about the merits announcement and kind of the opportunity you have there globally? And is Merits the first? Do you have other customers internationally you're helping like that?
So Merits is the first publicly announced, but not the first. And when we say Merits, we're talking about institutional customer bases or B2B business, which is a completely new line of business for us. We have been 100% focused on retail since we launched in 2018. Now we're spending a significant amount of internal resources and a significant amount of focus on targeting B2B partnerships in geographies where we don't currently operate a broker-dealer. We're even talking to B&B partnerships to institutional type partners in places where we actually do have a retail platform. Having said that, none of this revenue is yet even factored in to our current models and our current growth. And so the future, so Merits is an example of getting access to South Korean retail without having to have a South Korean retail brokerage license. We're going to continue to focus on opportunities like that. And in my opinion, the institutional side of our business, which is just beginning, Merits is the first announcement on a very long list of clients that are in the pipeline. That's going to be a huge boom for not only for our market share, but for our top and bottom lines.
And when would you expect Merits to go live? Has it started? What does that timeline look like to ramp up?
So typically, institutional onboarding takes much longer than retail onboarding, right? We can open up a retail account in minutes, and our retail customers can typically trade within 5 minutes of downloading the app. It's very different for institutional. There is a lot more checks. There is a lot more approvals, sometimes even up at the board level. That being said, we are currently live with Merits. We are currently trading on behalf of their clients' orders. And as we continue to grow the relationships, that the amount of flow that we receive from Merits will continue to grow over time.
Got it. And then just lastly related to that, where will that revenue show up? Is that other revenues or in the equity and options line?
So this is actually one of the fun parts. So the revenues actually show up in our transaction volumes. So even if we see a slowdown in U.S. retail trading volumes, our trading volumes will continue to tick up because we're onboarding a lot of these B2B relationships. So it's going to be baked into the transaction revenue mixed in the equities and hopefully in the next several months options. Currently, we're trading equities only with Merits.
Got it. Hey, thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Next question will come from Chris Brendler with Rosenblatt. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks. Good evening, and congratulations on the strong results here. I'd like to ask about the funded accounts, which ticked up. I know even if you back out the crypto, you did see a nice tick up there. I know there's been a little bit of a refocus of your marketing strategy towards assets over accounts, but given the gap between registered and funding, I'd love to see that close a little bit. So how are you thinking about funded account growth as you head into 2026? Thanks.
Sure. Hey, Chris. Well, funded account growth, in my opinion, we're going to see. So we're going to start seeing a lot more attribution coming from outside of the U.S. Like we mentioned on the call earlier, we have more than 700,000 funded accounts now that are outside the U.S. And we've seen the momentum and onboarding of funded accounts outside of the U.S. Basically, for the last 6 months, it was about 55%, 50%, right? 55% of new funded accounts coming from the U.S. Broker, about 45% coming from outside. That number is now completely equalizing, and we're at about 50-50. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing new funded account growth outpace outside of the U.S. outpace funded account growth in the U.S. I believe that's going to be the continued driver as the 13 broker dealers that we operate outside the U.S. start to really mature. If you remember, the first brokerage outside of the U.S. we opened was Hong Kong in Q3 of 21. The second one wasn't until Q2 of 2022, which is Singapore. We just opened our latest one in the Netherlands in September of 25. So these are all relatively young businesses that are in hyperscale mode. And so we're going to see a lot of low customer acquisition cost, new funded accounts really being driven from outside the U.S. And in the U.S., we're going to continue to focus on quality of our customers.
That's super helpful, caller. Thanks so much for that. I wanted to add a quick follow-up on numbers. Does crypto or prediction markets have any impact on third quarter metrics like DARTs or trading revenues? And will those kind of transactions show up in those metrics in the fourth quarter?
HC, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So we actually closed the Webull Pay transaction at the very end of the third quarter. So what the third quarter metrics includes is the AUM and funded accounts that were consolidated as part of the transaction. What's not included is the revenues, the transaction volumes, and the DARTs, because those take place over the course of the quarter. But the transaction did not close until the very end. But they will start to be included and presented as part of the consolidated group results starting in Q4.
Okay, great. That's helpful. And then I just have one more quick one, which is on Vega. It seems like this is a product that would help attract folks to your platform and potentially stay there longer. Any insights on the initial impact of Vega and on the expense side? Is there an ongoing expense for running this AI that you're outsourcing, or is it all developed in-house so there won't be much additional expense?
Yeah, so the Vega AI launch is not only a huge thing for Webull. This is the future of investing, right? There is so much news flow, so much information at all investors' fingertips. Often it's like drinking out of a fire hose. Now, we've created in-house, to answer that question, we've created our Vega AI trading assistant. Not only analyzes your portfolio, but can advise you on high levels of risk and give you insights into implied volatility in some of your options positions. Right? This is a game changer for the industry. And so because we developed it all in-house, there is no increased cost, and the user engagement has been phenomenal. We're seeing tens of millions of engagements of Vega, whether it's for actionable trading through the Vega AI trade assistant or just analysis of earnings or consolidation of news. And every day we're seeing more and more engagements, and we're seeing regular engagements, meaning we're seeing users come back to Vega regularly. And I believe that this is now the beginning of a whole new way that retail engages in their own portfolio and accesses market information and market opportunity.
Wow, that's great. Well, I obviously need to try it out. Thanks so much.
The next question will come from Brian Vietin with Seibert. Please go ahead.
Great. Thanks, guys. Anthony, so nice pickup in funded accounts this quarter. I think you said 50% of new accounts are trading crypto. Does that include the Webull Pay folks? And then looking ahead, could you speak to the opportunity in converting existing Webull funded accounts? I'm just curious on that, as I know your customer demographic is younger and digitally native. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly right. So the average Webull customer is in their young 30s. So very, very crypto native. And it really pained me back in September of 23 when we had to strip out our crypto offering from our brokerage platform. Our customers were not happy with it. So bringing it back was imperative. Now that we have it back and we have the opportunity not only to knock it out of the park with a better offering of crypto, especially for our customer type, we've been seeing great engagement for crypto native customers either coming back to Webull or discovering Webull for the first time. So like you mentioned, 50% of new funded accounts, 50% of them, the first trade they made was with cryptocurrency on the Webull platform. Those are not customers coming over from Webull Pay. Those are new customers to Webull in and of itself, simply because we now offer crypto. So we're going to continue to lean in to that type of customer. And like I mentioned before, make sure we give the tightest spreads and the best trading experience for the customer that calls us home. And that's the active, sophisticated type.
Very good. Thank you. And then just one more, if I may, just on the future listings. I think at one point the plan was to get to 100 by year end. I'm not sure if maybe there's some, it's a little contingent on some of the regulatory dynamics, which you alluded to, but just the complexion of those future listings. Are you envisioning more so, listing established crypto protocols or, kind of newer tokenized assets where you might be more differentiated? Just any commentary on the listing strategy would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. So, one of the fundamentals that we've always held here, whether it's crypto, it's equities, it's options, again, prediction markets, we want to give our customers the availability to trade as much as we possibly can offer. If that means, so you mentioned 100 as a number. I don't want to go on record and say we're going to have 100 different tokens available to trade by year end, but that certainly is our goal. Having said that, when we look at the opportunity for crypto, it's more than just offering new product types. It's offering a better experience to do so. So yes, the short answer is yes. We plan to have as many different opportunities and as many different offerings on the platform as we possibly can bring, and we plan to really lean into making sure our customers feel that this is the best place. Webull is the best place to trade.
Thanks, Anthony. Congrats on a great quarter.
Next question will come from Edward Engel with Compass Point. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking my question. Appreciate some of the color you gave about funded accounts outside the U.S. Just kind of wanted to get a better sense on maybe some of the localized features that you're offering in some of these markets and kind of where the roadmap is, whether it's tax wrappers or savings accounts or local banking connectivity. Thanks.
Sure. So it really depends on the region. We've always had a single mentality here. We have one global vision, but we make sure that we execute locally. What does that mean? It's simply every Webull broker dealer that we have, 14 around the world, has a local team. It's not an American that's sitting in London. We have a Brit sitting in London, running the office there. There's a reason for that. Not only do they have a better feel for what that customer needs, they also have a better opportunity for local marketing, how to differentiate. That being said, a lot of those businesses are still relatively young, and we're constantly adding new products. Things like tax wrappers, for example, IRAs in the US or ISAs in the UK. I'm using UK, maybe too much. But as soon as we have the regulatory approval to add those products, we always do. And for the most part, there are 2 or 3 exceptions, but for the most part, every Webull entity will trade the local security in that country, as well as give customers the ability to trade U.S. products. The one example I can think of is Indonesia. There is no license yet in Indonesia for our Indonesian customers to trade U.S. securities. However, hopefully that'll change by year end. That all being said, we see the majority of transactions happening in our non-U.S. entities. The transactions are happening in U.S. products. And that goes back to things I've been talking about for the last year and change. The exportation of the U.S. retail trading experience is one of the largest growth factors that I believe we're going to see in the next year and a half, right? Especially when it comes to retail out of the U.S. We have seen the adoption of not only obviously ETF trading outside the U.S., but options trading specifically. For example, customer sitting in New York City has a position in NVIDIA yesterday, coming out with earnings at the close. And we have a customer sitting in Japan, also with a position in NVIDIA. They're looking at the same news flows. They're listening to the same podcasts. They're watching the same Reddit feeds. They're reading the same comments on the Webull community. Yet, a lot of times, they're not able to trade the same products. We're changing that. Now our customers in Japan can trade calendar spreads, can put on a condor, right? That doesn't exist for the most part outside of the US. And we are working very hard to make sure that we export that US retail investor experience to everywhere outside the US, which is one of the main reasons why we're seeing such amazing growth in our non-US brokerages.
Great. Appreciate that color. And then, I mean, I guess quarter to date, we have seen a bit of volatility in the U.S. equity markets. Curious if you're able to provide any color on, I guess, how your users are kind of holding up through some of that. Thanks.
Sure. I think uniquely Webull, we are extremely well positioned for a rising VIX. Our customers, I mean, we've been offering the ability to short sell since the first day that we launched the platform in 2018. Right? Our customers, again, I keep saying this word sophisticated. I keep saying this word experienced. When there's volatility, our customers are trading more. And so just the past couple of weeks, we've seen explosive volume due to volatility. And I think Webull is probably uniquely positioned to weather volatile markets a lot better than our peers. That, of course, being said, long-term volatility is never amazing for a cyclical business. But I believe as a platform, we are accelerating into this volatility in the short term.
Great. Thanks for that. And then, yeah, congrats on all the recent progress.
Thanks.
We'll conclude our question and answer session as well as conference call. Thank you all for attending today's presentation. You may now disconnect.
All right. Well, that was, the results from Webull in terms of customer growth, revenue growth, net income growth, all of that looked really good. Looks like they're executing very well. I want to spend a little bit more time going back through their prospectus again, whatever warrants or SPAC shares, insider shares might be out there or still pending. And because, even if the company, I'm just telling you my things that I'm looking at, right? Even if the company is performing well, if insiders or warrant holders or the company is selling into upward momentum, then we just get stalled out on the price. If they're going to peg it at a 4 billion market cap, but they add 10% of shares, then your price is going to go down by 10% roughly to account for the more shares at the same market cap. So, that's been one of my concerns why I haven't gone big into Webull. But I do have a toe in the water now, just above $8. And so I'm going to be paying attention. I'll be digging in a little bit deeper on the filings. And if I come up with anything worth sharing, I'll drop that in the Discord. And then if I have time, I'll put a video out about it as well. I was looking at the SEC filings this afternoon, and it looked like the level of detail that I need as to why the share count went up in the last 90 days was not filed today, but maybe it will be filed tomorrow. So we'll see. We will see. Chartered Travel says nothing pending. Well, they have a massive spa agreement open, right? You do know about that one. I'm not smoking crack here, am I? Let's just review, and you can tell me if I'm looking at something wrong here. Top right. Yeah, 1 billion. So I call, if it's an open SPA agreement, yeah, $1 billion. If it's an open SPA agreement, then, it's things I worry about. The company's cash position is fine. They are net income positive. So that lowers it from red or yellow flag to just a flag, be aware of this. hopefully, you know, they only use something like this to grow the business so you get some incremental value instead of just dilute to keep the company afloat. I don't think we're not in the dilute to keep the company afloat risk level with Webull. That's not my concern. So, but I do want to make sure I really have a good, crisp understanding as I decide whether to keep adding to this position. No preferred shares left. All right, thank you for that. We will have, I'm gonna stop here. That's kind of like the only thing that I want to dig into a little bit more, just to refresh my memory. It's been 3 or 4 months since I've looked at that, and I still dipped my toe in the water here around $8 for Webull. And we'll see where it goes from here. The chart, look, if you zoom out on the chart, looks pretty bad. Technical wise, you know, we can't see where the bottom might be on Webull, so we got to be careful, and we got to be aware that the market's under a little pressure right now. But I'm willing to take a little bit of a risk here. What do I mean by the chart looks bad? There's no support. I mean, we don't know where the bottom support is, so just be careful. I'm just slowly starting to start up a position here, and maybe $8 is the bottom, maybe $5 is the bottom. I have no way to tell you other than, you know, the market's going to decide what they want to value the stock at. The company execution wise is doing good. And we'll keep an eye on the analysts, the two that cover Webull, and see if they drop any updates here in the next week. Chris and Mike. They previously had $18 and $19 price targets on Webull, so I'll be curious to see. I mean, they updated these as recently as September. I'll be curious to see here now in November with the latest earnings if they have some updated thoughts. Anyhow, Charted Travel says don't zoom out. Yeah, I mean, we gotta zoom out so we at least know what we're up against. A lot of people accuse me, Mr. Travel, if I cover a stock, they say I'm pumping the stock. I just like to walk you through my process here. I don't know where the bottom is. I'm not pumping or promoting Webull stock. I am invested in it, but I also have very reasonable expectations, a small position, and I'm just going to bluntly tell you, I don't know where the bottom is here on this, but it feels like the selling pressure from $15 down to $8 seemed like a good point for me to start a position. So we'll see. I'm not too worried about Webull as a company going anywhere. It's just a matter of getting the right entry and then being patient. Yeah, it might be a play that we have to hold for several years, which is why getting a good entry and having a good, reasonable expectation on the timeline. I'm not buying this thinking I'm going to be rich in 30 days, you know. I want a entry that I feel comfortable holding for a few years while they grow this business and the product offerings. I like seeing a 55% revenue growth with only 13% operating expense growth. That seems like they're managing the business well. So that being said, I'm going to stop here real quick and get something to eat. Maybe crank out a couple of videos, and then we'll see if we don't go to a movie tonight, me and the wife, I'll see if we can crank out another live stream where we can sit around, crack some beers, and commiserate about the markets in general this week. So thank you guys for hanging out, and we will see you on the next one. Go Webull!
Down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Edges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Edges